What's going on, Bills Mafia? We got a major James Cook extension update to discuss on today's show as Brandon Beane talked at the NFL owners' meetings about the future of number 4. Before we get into all of that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I got a challenge for Bills Mafia out there. The most subs that we've gained on a video on the channel in its infancy is 148. Can we get 150 diehard Buffalo Bills fans to go down below and hit that sub button? Set the record for the most subs gained on a Bills breakdown video. So Brandon Beane discussed the future of James Cook. As we've seen, the Buffalo Bills extend a bunch of their young talent, specifically from that excellent 2022 draft class to long-term deals. But is that in the cards for James Cook, who seems like he's the only one without a major deal agreed to upon just yet? Here's what Brandon Beane had to say down in Florida at the NFL owners' meetings. He said, the talks that we have had with James Cook and his team didn't lead to anything as far as us, closing in on a deal. We moved on to the guys that we were more on the same page with. Interesting comment there. At this point, Sal, we're on to the draft. Once we got Benford done, I don't see us doing any deals anytime soon. We're going to focus on the draft and getting our cap in order, planning for how we cut the 53 down. And that's interesting, right? He said we were more went with guys who we were more on the same page with. Well, it seems like they were not on the same page with James Cook, who was very vocal about wanting a big-time payday. If you guys remember how he's acted in social media or how he's talked in interviews, he has been relentless in wanting that massive deal and something in the realm of a top running back salary per year. Remember his IG Live? I know it's probably difficult to see right now, but what did he pin down as the comment? It said 15 mil a year. That is an exorbitant price to be paying for James Cook, for any running back in this league, quite frankly. I mean, Saquon Barkley just got a massive $20 million a year extension, and that's unprecedented. Christian McCaffrey got $19 million, and those guys are head and shoulders above the rest of the talent in this league. James Cook, yes, albeit 25, he wants a massive payday to guys who have already shown it for consistent year after year after year after year production in the NFL. And Buffalo's already paid out a ton of money. Remember, Beane said we got to get our cap in order. Well, he's already pushing out a ton of money, 8-figure deals to many of the young talented players on Buffalo's roster right now. Khalil Shakir getting $15 million a year. Greg Rousseau getting $20 million a year to be Buffalo's basically number one pass rusher over the next 4 seasons. Terrell Bernard, the Bills Green Dot guy, he's going to be paid long-term here, and we could see the future of Matt Milano kind of go to the shadows because Terrell Bernard has been playing so well for Buffalo. He gets an 8-figure deal. Christian Benford, the most recent contract extension, getting him below $20 million AAV was an excellent deal. I call it a bargain for Buffalo, but that's another big-time contract that you're spending on the defense right now. Now, the offense, it does probably need work, but at the end of the day, are you going to commit $15 million like you just committed to your top slot receiver to a running back who, let's be honest, is replaceable? We're not going to sit here and act like James Cook is Christian McCaffrey right now, is Saquon Barkley. Could he get there one day? Perhaps. He's a home run hitter. But as of right now, I'm not sure $15 million is the right price point to go give him. And he was definitely probably firm. Him and his team were probably firm on a $12 million plus annual salary. Maybe they were talking about some incentives in there to get it up to 15. Regardless, they were looking for a big money extension, and it doesn't look like that's coming anytime soon. And another interesting quote that Beane had during these meetings, he said, about the other 4 extensions that they got done. They got Josh done as well. They re-signed Ty Johnson, another running back that we'll talk about in just a little bit. But he said if you don't extend them now, it doesn't mean you can't get it done, but every day closer to free agency could up their price. Interesting to note, maybe James Cook is okay betting on himself because he can get more than $12 to $15 million on his next deal if he has another absolute standout year, because he's gotten better over the past couple of seasons. Back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons. He's averaging a good yards per touch. He's really, 16 touchdowns this year was absolutely insane. If he can keep those numbers up and keep getting in the paint, keep putting up points for Buffalo, he will be worth a major long-term extension. And he's kind of cleaned up the turnovers in his game as well. 4 fumbles in 2023, albeit on a good season, down to 1 in 2024. We know that was an issue early on in his career, but now Cook is in a spot where he could be going after one more massive season here and betting on himself and being paid more than he's actually asking for at this point. And Beane said this on the future of Cook and the possibility of actually bringing him back long term. So just because we don't have James signed today doesn't mean next year we still can't get him done before he gets to free agency. Interesting to note there. And I have a little bit of a prediction as to what will go down with James Cook as they are waiting until basically right up until he gets to free agency. Doesn't seem like there's going to be a deal made this offseason. We'll know more as the season gets a lot closer. But name your price for me down in the comment section on a James Cook contract. How much are you willing to pay James Cook, 25 years old, a back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, is a threat as a pass catcher as well? How much are you willing to pay James Cook on a long-term extension? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. The question that has to be asked is, if it's not going to be a long-term extension, or if it's not the social media, or if it's not the the antics that he's been having out there publicly, then what is the root cause? My prediction for James Cook's saga is he's probably going to be franchise tagged at some point. Like that just seems like the logical addition, especially when he's going to be entering his age 27 season, and he's going to be, maybe at higher risk of giving a 4-year contract extension to when it's up. He'll be, 31 years old. And when you have other players in the backfield that are effective and that are showing that they can earn contract extensions, like a Ty Johnson, like a Ray Davis, who is still on his rookie deal, like there are other bodies in Buffalo's backfield that make winning plays and help this offense get to where it needs to go. And Cook doesn't really have that type of versatility. Yes, he's a home run hitter in between the tackles. He can take a touchdown 60 yards to the crib. But he doesn't have that absolute bell cow 3-down versatility that, the top backs who are making the big money in this league are. He is not a good pass blocker. Like Ty Johnson or a Ray Davis can go out there and chip a linebacker and maybe go off into the flat like Ty Johnson will. James Cook just gets blown up out there in the backfield. And if he's in the backfield on a 3rd down set, the pass rush of the opponent can sell out and just get a free run at Josh, because James Cook is not a threat to be blocking back there. And, he also isn't a bell cow back at all, really, because he's 20th in the NFL in carries in 2024. So, this isn't a guy who you're relying upon to carry the weight of your offense. That's 17 when you just gave him a record-setting contract extension. James Cook just isn't that guy who Buffalo is winning because of. He is a great complementary piece, but at the end of the day, this comes down to number 17 in the backfield, and James Cook probably isn't the most unreplaceable player to where you have to be paying him a 4-year, $15 million annual deal. And you got to pose another question. Could James Cook get really pissed off at all this and end up holding out when the season comes around? It's a possibility. I don't think any other team in the NFL is going to be willing to pay him the money that he's asking for at this point in time. So it's probably not going to be worth it if he was going to do that and ask for a trade or something like that. But, I see him just end up playing this season, trying to gamble on himself a little bit. And then, like I said, Brandon Beane goes out and uses the franchise tag on James Cook in 2026. Could even use it again the following season in 2027 if he does end up balling out, because I do think James Cook was the best weapon on the Buffalo offense last year. It's just unfortunate that he comes at a position that is fairly replaceable at the end of the day. And that's why I wanted to go to this before we ended today's show. Brandon Beane said we're on to the draft. Now, does that mean we're on to the draft as far as looking at it from a grand scope and looking at it in general? Probably, but he's talking about James Cook at the time. So is he alluding to potentially taking a running back in 2025? There is a super deep class of backs heading into April's draft. I mean, listen, Buffalo's probably not going to get any of the names, first couple of names that you see on your screen, like Ashton Genty or Amarian Hampton or Quinshon Judkins, guys who are fringe first-rounders / early second-round guys. Caleb Johnson is a name that I've seen slip in a couple of mock drafts. Maybe that's a big bruiser back that Buffalo could be interested in. Or what about the dual threat and Cam Scadaboo, who just get him the ball in his hands and he could absolutely go out there and make a play with it. Travion Henderson is versatile. Dylan Sampson's a speedy back out of Tennessee. Devin Neal has been mocked to Buffalo in a couple of recent mock drafts. They're in the 4th round. Taj Brooks, tough runner out of Texas Tech. And then Ollie Gordon, the uber productive back out of Oklahoma State. Just a couple of names to be had there in this NFL draft, and there's even more depth at the position. I could see Buffalo going early day 3. Think about the 4th round pick. Think about that jumble of picks that they have. Four selections in an 8-pick stretch. They could easily go running back in one of those spots, and then further cement this running back room as one of the deepest in the NFL. And who knows, maybe James Cook looks a little bit more expendable after next season if you get a big year out of a rookie. But let me know in the comment section, would you rather extend James Cook long-term? Type Cook down in the comment section. Or draft a running back in round 2, because there is uber talent going on in 2025. The Bills have 2 selections in round number 2, and they could get an absolute weapon at that spot. Let me know what you guys would rather do. Type Cook if you'd rather extend James Cook, or type draft if you would take one of the stud RBs in round number 2. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That will do it for today's edition of the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. Remember, we're trying to set a record on this edition of the Bills Breakdown. We need 150 diehard Buffalo Bills fans to go down below and hit that sub button for daily Buffalo Bills news and rumors all the way through this offseason and into the regular season. We'll have the best draft coverage as well. So lock us in, hit that sub button. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, go Bills.